What's up, everybody? Shoulders is complete. It was just 2 exercises, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Hope everybody's doing good. I'm way too hyped for it to be 4:17 in the morning. It's 4:17 and my workout is complete. So I got here about 3:20, 3:30, so it wasn't a super long workout. However, it was effective. I got done what I wanted to get done. So the reason I came so early today is I had to be at work at 5 a.m. And I do like an afternoon lift, but sometimes I like a really early morning lift. And I have found out if I go really early on a Sunday, there's absolutely nobody in the gym. Which sometimes, I like other people to be in there. It's a community thing. But there's times that I'd like to be in there alone. And I was able to do things I wouldn't be able to do when there's, more people in there. My ability to film is better, so I got better angles. And since there was absolutely nobody in there, I did my pose down in the gym mirror. So that'll be interesting to look at here in a little bit. But nailed my diet yesterday. Don't see why I won't nail my diet today. We are on the right path to finally start chiseling away at those last little bits of body fat. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I guess, let's just go through this workout real quick. So I did a rotator cuff warm up starting off. Partially, I'm not sure if I really have to do one when I do shoulders, but it's just another muscle group that I do the warm up with, because I know when I do the warm up, I'm working my rotator cuff. I'm actually going to be strengthening it a little bit too. So there's 2 sides to that. But anyway, so after the rotator cuff warm up, dumbbell lateral raises, I did a few sets that's super lightweight to get blood flowing to my shoulders and get my shoulders ready for the work ahead. So those working sets were, the first one was 20 pounds, but the rest of them were 15 pounds. I did somewhere between 6 to 8 sets. Like, I lost count somewhere, but I think if you do at least, I even think 4 might be okay, as long as you're going hard. That's the whole point. If you go hard, you hit your muscle hard, and I think you'll be good. So I did 6 to 8 sets, light to moderate weight, really focusing on control this time. Didn't feel like throwing it. I did, so I tried the heavy. Like, I tried 20, it didn't feel as good as it did last time I did it. So I lightened it up and focused more on time under tension, mind-muscle connection, doing it that way. And after 6 to 8 sets there, my side delts were pumped up, and I felt good about that. So rear delts, I did something different, and I'm pretty excited about that. Like, I don't have the confidence, I think, sometimes to try new things when there's a lot of people around. And that was another advantage to go this early on a Sunday. Nobody in there, nobody to judge. In a perfect world, we're like, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I don't care what they think about what I'm doing, and things along that line. But that's a hard thing to get past. But if you can get past that, you will become unstoppable. I've heard that so many times. So maybe that's just something I need to get accustomed to. Maybe not to the extreme that I'm taking my shirt off and doing my pose down in the gym when there's 15 other people in there, but So face pulls, I did laying face pulls. Thank you, Sam Solik. But I pulled bench up to the cable stack rope attachment. That way I'm not having to counter the weight with my body weight, and I can focus 100% on my rear delts. So I think that, and it did feel pretty good. So hats off to him, of course. But, rope attachment, full extension, squeeze, hold, go back. I did it that way for the first 4 or 5 sets. I can't remember how many sets I did on this one either. It was 6 to 8 again. And I just know the last few sets, I just kind of pumped out reps because it felt good, but I felt like it could have felt a little bit better. Maybe I wasn't going heavy enough, but it was my first time doing face pulls that way. But I ended up doing like tempo reps. Did about 20 on the last 2 or 3 sets. And that finished off my rear delts. I did my pose down in the gym. I kind of liked the lighting, so it looked good in the mirror, but sometimes you'll look in the mirror and then you'll go back and you'll look at what you filmed and it looked completely different. So I don't know, it's angles, lightings, the camera, I don't know. So we'll see how that looks. Hopefully it looks as good as what I saw. And awesome. So I had some rice cakes. I don't have time to cook some eggs, so my backup meal is Cliff Bars. I'll get 2 of those at work. For lunch, I'll probably have a foot long from Subway. That'll put me around 1,300 calories, I think, for the day. And then for dinner, that'll leave me about 700 calories and about 50-ish, a little closer to 60 or 70 grams of protein. So maybe instead of potatoes, I'll do my keto tacos tonight. That way I can cut back on the calories and up the protein. So I have a few meals at my disposal. And when I cook the potatoes, I cook them in olive oil because, you need a certain amount of fat when you're dieting. So with the tacos, since I won't have the olive oil in the potatoes, what I'll do is I'll use some cheddar, some shredded cheddar for the fat content. It's just one of those things. When you want it bad enough, you'll do a little bit more research. You'll learn new things. And I think that's something that'll go a long way too. So if you really want this thing or any other thing in your life, if there's like a dream or goal you have, the more you want it, the more you'll reach, the more you'll research, the more you'll try new things. So I think that's where the hunger and the drive comes from, where that plays a part into your dream. It's not just because you want it, you're going to get it. But once you want it bad enough, you start to expand your mind. You start looking for new ways to win. And I think that's really what starts to separate you from wishing for something you want to actually acquiring something you want. But that's all I got for you guys right now. Stick around for that workout. Don't let that dreamer die. Keep the grind alive. And never, ever give up on yourself. I'll see you guys in the morning.